God. Oh my God. Is there's people there listening, but no one tells me that I am not having my mic off. Is it true? Oh my God. Do I start again? MJ, do you hear me now? I hear you. Okay, so all this time I was talking 14 minutes and no one told me that they cannot hear me, right? Okay, I'll start again. I'll start again. All right. Today we're going to talk about procrastination and the root cause of procrastination and how we actually can how we fall into this the doom loop of the procrastination, right? So I was talking before that we all sometimes fall into the procrastination, and we kind of, we wake up in the morning and we plan to do some work, but then 1 hour later we find ourselves checking social media and watching some videos and things like that. Or maybe we just plan to do some routine work and then spend 1 hour to do some kind of things that we planned in the morning, and then 1 hour we kind of find ourselves 40 minutes talking on the phone to our friends, right? So this is really at the time where we need to start to get ourselves into the awareness of what we're doing. So deferring to late time or deferring to a next day is one of the biggest threats to our productivity, to the career growth, to the work-life balance, even to our health and to our happiness. So statistics show that 95% of American population is admitting that they regularly fall into the procrastination. So this is a really big issue, and we need to start to pay attention to it and learn how we can deal with this, how we can actually learn and equip ourselves to identify quickly and get ourselves into the different space from that procrastination, right? So basically, when we already in it and during procrastination, we tell ourselves all sorts of lies. We tell ourselves all of these reasons to justify our actions, and it's called instant gratification monkey. So that instant gratification monkey is always on a way for us to take us from the feelings of not good and jump into the feelings that are good. And that's what really is the space where we need to start to increase and develop our awareness. In that moment, we need to do something, right? So we often get distracted and we just saying, oh, it's okay, I'll just do it later. So it's no surprise that the word procrastination come from the Latin word or meaning belonging to tomorrow. So the meaning of it is like, delaying it and delaying and postpone it. So the problem of the procrastination is laying in a different type of the distraction. So the true procrastination lies not in the lack of time management or the lack of the project management. It lies in the emotional. It lies within ourselves. So we cannot just simply, do not disturb. We cannot just put that do not disturb feeling when we feel frustrated, when we feel bored, when we feel anxious, when we feel stressed. So we cannot just automatically put that sign, well, do not disturb, and keep doing. So we need to start to get awareness of how we can recognize that state. And the danger of procrastination is laying in that we actively doing against what we actually planned. So that conscious choice of actively doing something else from what we actually plan is the most dangerous things about procrastination and during our things for during our work hours and at our workplace, right? So So if it is lies in our emotions, then how can we see it? How can we learn about it? And how we can find the ways that we can actually start to retrain ourselves, or start to make sure that emotionally we understand what we're doing. So basically, when we come when we like, for me, when I wake up, what I often find myself, that I have this plan to jump into my project and spend like a few hours to do a solid work. Well, I find myself going outside. I love to spend outside, and this is my positive emotions. This is my loving activity. And instead of, starting to do my project, I go outside, and then later, 1 hour, 45 minutes, I find myself that I feel like I don't want to start anymore, because it's already past the, early morning hours and things like that. So, basically, it's like we when we procrastinate, we want to make and choose positive emotions over the effort to put in work in our project, right? So, but there is also this distinguishing state between the reasonable delay and the true procrastination. So the reasonable delay is, for example, I get an reply to this email after I finish that stage of my project. So it's like you have this boundary and a time frame to do it. This is reasonable delay. But when we actually find ourselves in true procrastination, so we creating a doom loop. So basically, what we starting with, like, I catch myself often, like, I have the important project and I find myself outside. It's like, oh, I just don't feel like doing it right now, right? And then when I come back, I start to feel guilty. I start to feel guilty that I was not strong enough to stop myself from going outside and start to do my work. So that guilt creates that anxiety. The anxiety creates the stress, and the stress creates that frustration. And then when I'm in that state, I'm less willing to jump back onto the project. So, and then of course I am delaying it again, and it goes on and on and on, and I create the doom loop of procrastination. And then and then of course we create that vicious cycle. So when we create the doom loop of procrastination, we then of course find ourselves behind this schedule. We find ourselves behind the plans that we've been planning to do. And what do? We increase our working hours. We try to catch up, and then of course we overwork ourselves with longer hours, with more effort. We start to feel overwhelmed. We start to even go into the burnout, and then we go into that state. We most likely to go into procrastination again, and this is going on and going on, and we create these fluctuations from all of these states, from procrastination to guilt, from guilt to stress and anxiety, from stress and anxiety to less wanting to work. Then we try to catch up. We run like crazy to catching up. Then we go into overwhelm and then burnout. And then the vicious cycle starts to do it again and again and again. So we need to start to implement, if you tools and tips. Of course, it goes deeper into that emotional state, but immediately, like, I would like to share with you about three points that I'm using when I start to be aware, and when I catch myself often that before my major projects, I go outside and I spend there sometimes more than an hour, and then I come back and feel guilty. I start to actually catch myself before that. And before I go outside, I make the deal with my gratification monkey mind. And I actually bargain my gratification monkey mind with a word and I'm saying, okay, I will go outside and I spend 15 minutes or half an hour there after 2 hours of solid time that I invest into my project, right? So I kind of make that plans to satisfy the gratification monkey before it actually kick off and start to pull me out of my center, right? So that's number one. I advise you to actually talk to your mind when it is already start to pull you into this procrastination. So another tip is that like you need to know that we cannot feel good and great all the time. So the fact that we cannot feel great all the time, there's an invitation from this to actually forgive ourselves. An invitation from this is to be compassionate to yourself. If you fall off the wagon and actually find yourself again into that space of procrastination, well, just accept that you did it and forgive yourself and have compassion to yourself that you human, you learning, you doing your best, and you have intention to actually work with your mind in a much more deeper awareness space so that you can do it before it actually happens, right? So and also another tip is like we have all of these plans and we have the projects, we have these big plans. Divide your plans and goals into very small parts, because when we actually have that small part, we know that it is easier for us to get it done and see the result of what we've done. So we basically can see the result and we can see the progress, because we every day, every minute, every week, we make huge progresses and we have small progresses, and it is a huge loss that we're not recognizing it. So that's another way to actually keep your motivation up, is to recognize your progress, to recognize what you've done, right? How you're moving through your little goals and tasks, and you tick them off, you doing it, right? So another, very good tip is, like I already explained how I do it, like use 5-minute rule to cross the procrastination threshold. So it's like when you feel I'm not feeling not doing it, and I'll maybe jump on something that is going to give me a good feeling. So just in that moment, have the strength of your mind and get yourself into that work, and it only will take about 1 or 2 minutes for you to get deeply dive into the process of working. And it is on a moment-to-moment basis. On a moment-to-moment basis, being involved in a meaningful work and doing work is usually less painful than still being into procrastinated space, right? So it's like almost you by your will going and work into that. I don't feel like doing it today, but you do it, and then you, less than 5 minutes, you're going to feel better, and you start to tick the boxes of your tasks, and then give yourself the prize. If you've done number of little small tasks that you plan to do, take a break, go outside, or do what makes you feel good, because that's what really is the justification monkey mind want to do. It want to take us from the place of frustration, anxiety, fears, and things like that into the feel good place, right? So, and the third tip is track your progress. I already named that, and create procrastination-free workplace. What do I mean by this? Well, what I mean by this is, like, if you sit and you focus your attention to only a project or some meaningful task that you are planning to do, please put aside your telephone somewhere that you cannot access. If you have any other destructive feeling good, little destructive things in your workplace or your workspace, please eliminate them, because that would make you less likely to jump from the project into these feel good things that actually our mind sometimes want to do. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today. But yes, another things I wanted to tell you that about 2 weeks ago, I ran from Overwhelm to Balance workshop, and the response was really great. So I'm thinking to put that workshop back again and offer to run it again live. So we touched a little bit on the procrastination in the workshop, but there's so many other concepts and things and the states that we sometimes cannot identify. So there's a very minute little differences in our emotional state, like feeling reasonably delayed, right? That's one state. Then we kind of fall into procrastination. Then we fall into guilt. Then we fall into this, punishing state for ourselves. Then we don't feel like doing it again. And then we kind of feel that guilty, and we constantly try to catch up, and that goes on and on and on. So through my workshop, I explain in a deeper, more detailed level of how we can actually find ourselves in a particular state of it, and how we can deepen our awareness while we're there, and how we can, through these little adjustments and the little tips and tools, can take ourselves back into the balance. And for me, I think the main recommendation or the main sharing is that if we do something that we don't like, we are absolutely 100% more likely to create procrastination and sit in there and be in there. So we need to look at if we love what we're doing, if what we're doing is stemming from our heart, if we know our purpose and meaning, and we have this meaningful work that is calling us, and that will already take, like, for me, almost like 80% of the chances that you will find yourself into procrastination. So thank you very much. I'm sorry for the beginning of this episode. I just really didn't check my microphone. Normally I always organized. I do it before, like 10 minutes before. Well, sometimes things happen. So my mind probably was somewhere else, but eventually, thank you, MJ. She told me that I'm actually silent, just gesturing. So I covered mostly everything that I wanted to share with you today, and just go with your life and be compassionate to yourself, practice self-love, forgive yourself, and start to have all of this groundness, seeing and feeling where you at, and how do you deal with this very distortive and disruptive monkey mind that we can start to make peace with, that we can learn how we can deal with all of this. And so I wish you all a great week, and I'll come back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much, and let's listen of a little bit of music.